Okay, today's daf is daf Yud Gimel in Shekalim 13. It says in Yud Gimel on Beis, it says that the Chachamim, Mal Talmud Omer Sofrim, Al Sha'asu as Torah, Sfuros. Fifth or sixth line over here. Chamisha lo yitrum truma, Chamisha dvarim chayavim bechala. It says that the Chachamim are very smart and they made it very easy for you to understand and remember halachas. They grouped them into numbers. They made a lot of things. Arbaim chasar achas, for melachas on Shabbos. The Gemara comments on this. The Gemara says, Reb Chagai b'shem Rishmuel bar Nachman, Rishonim charshu v'zaru nichshu chischu ajru kitzru amru dashu zaru biru tichnu rakidu lashu kitvu v'afu v'ano ein lanu malechol. So they did all the hard work. They worked hard and grouped everything into categories, and we have nothing left to eat. So the Karbanina says, Kolomer afal pi sharishon masu kol bulos lahaka aleinu adayin kash aleinu lahavi divrei Torah buryan. He says it's very hard for us to find out the correct path in the Torah. And then the Gemara comments, Rab Abba bar Zamina b'shem Zera in having kadmoin malachin anan b'nei enash and having b'nei enash anan chamorin. If the Rishonim, the original Chachamim, were like malachim, so then we're like regular human beings. If they were like human beings, then we're like donkeys. And the Gemara comments, we're not even on the madrega of the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. And the Gemara brings a story of the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair that was stolen and refused to eat even demai. That it was machmer on itself, the donkey, even though it's not chayiv in Torah mitzvos. It was machmer not to even eat demai, even where demai would be permissible for a human being. So there's a couple of questions over here. First of all, why is it a mila that a donkey is not eating demai, or even where demai is mutter to be eaten? A donkey is a donkey. It's not chayiv in Torah mitzvos. So why is it a mila to take this chumrah upon yourself? It seems like in the Gemara that it's a big, it's a high level that the donkey reached. Second of all, the Gemara says that if the original Chachamim were like Malachim, then we're considered to be like human beings, like Bnei Enosh. We're considered to be human beings. So we know that based on the Bali Musar, they say that it's a greater level to be a human being than it is to be a Malach. A Malach is a saint. Malach, someone has no free choice. They're always doing good, and they can't do bad. They have no choice. Human beings have free will, and they have to make the right decisions. So it's a higher level. So why does the Gemara seem to be saying that we're on a lower level? They're like malachim, and we're like human beings. And then the Gemara says, if they're like human beings, then we're like donkeys. Not even like the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. So why does it say not even like the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair? If it's trying to say that they're on a higher level, it should say not even the donkey of a donkey that doesn't keep the rules at all. That's what it should say. Why should it say not even like the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair, which was close to being a human being, or maybe on the level of being a human being, that was taking chumras upon itself and presumably on a higher level? It should really say, if it's comparing them and saying we're on a lower level, it should say even the donkey that didn't listen at all. That's what it should say. To answer all these questions, they have to say, Yenachinami, we're right. Like what we said before, like the Bali Musar are really right, that the Gemara is not saying, there's a concept that everyone says about Yeridas Hadoros, that, the next generation is on a lower level. And in a certain sense it's true, but in a certain sense also, there's truth to it that people on a low, in future generations and generations later on, could be on a higher level. How is that? Because the Gemara is saying that the Chamim in earlier generations, they grouped everything into categories. They made 5 people take off Truma, Avos Malachas, Arbaim Chasar Achas, 39 Malachas. They made it very easy to remember halachos. And in a sense, it's good to remember the halachos. But there's a problem. If you have too many halachos on your head, and everything is so thought out, and you're always cheshboning whether to do something or not to do something, it's very taxing on a person. And obviously, You have to know the Torah and know the halachas. But if you know too much Torah and too much halachos, it's always on your mind. You can't function normally. If you can't function normally, you can't be a human being. Human beings make mistakes. Because there's other parts in life where you have to live like a normal person. If you have too many halachas in your mind, it could be a problem. So when the Gemara says, Ein lanu ma la'echol, we don't have anything left to eat, it's not saying that we're on a lower level. We're saying they were like malachim, they were, like saints. They didn't make any mistakes. They had everything categorized into numbers, and they remember all the halachas. We're on a lower level. We're human beings. We don't know all the halachas. When halacha comes to us, we ask the shaila to the Rav, and we ask him, and we make sure we get the right answer. But ultimately, we're not going to know all the halachas the same. We're going to make mistakes, human beings. And really, the Gemara is saying a compliment for later generations, that we're like human beings. Human beings are on a higher level than malachim. And that's the Gemara is saying over here also about the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair, that if the original people were like people, then we're like donkeys, and specifically not like the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair, because there the donkey was taking chumras upon himself, which he wasn't responsible to. And taking chumras upon yourself when you don't know things is just a knee-jerk reaction, which is better not to do. And it causes a lot of problems, psychological problems, and cause, functional problems. A lot of problems it causes if you just don't know the halacha and you take a chumrah upon yourself. And this story of the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair actually was patur from demai. There was no chiyuv in demai. And he still refused to eat the food they gave him. So you see that it's not, the Gemara is saying it's not a maila donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. It's actually he's taking chumras upon himself. Not only the donkey doesn't have to do the mitzvahs, but also he's doing halachas that weren't the real halacha. So the Gemara is saying really it's a maila koach de'etera adav. It's better to take kulas upon yourself. If you're not sure the halacha, obviously if there's a Rav, you can try to ask the Rav. If you don't know, it's better to be mekel than to be machmer.